You know, this was a surprise to me because in my mind, I am nowhere near done. And in my mind, a Hall of Fame is like, okay, send him to the pasture. I don't want to be sent to the pasture. I'm just getting started, baby. So I'm excited about that. It's a big honor to be accepted into the Direct Selling Hall of Fame. Of course it is. But let me just take you back to where the motivation came to keep going. So it's 1968. And there's this young girl, beautiful and excited. And she's got her future husband with her, boyfriend. They're bright-eyed. But they can't get anywhere. They can't get ahead. They don't have a future because they live in a country called Czechoslovakia. And the Russians came into Czechoslovakia and occupied it. They put barriers on the borders, not to keep people out, but to keep people in. And the longer she was there, the more she realized, wow, this isn't a great future for me. And so they decided to one night, under the darkness of, the night, escape and run across the border to Austria. And as they were running across the border, they were confronted by a Russian soldier, young Russian soldier. And he's like, what do I do? I got to stop her from crossing, but she's beautiful. He didn't have it in him, so he took a knife and put it in her knee to try to stop her. And my dad grabbed her, pulled her across the border, and they escaped. That was a sacrifice. That was a decision. And 2 years later, I was born as an immigrant family in South Africa, because that was the only country that they were kind of invited to. Austrians didn't want them at the time, and nobody in Europe wanted more immigrants. And I was born into freedom. I had the privilege of being born with a chance. And my mom, she became a single mom about 3 years old, and from 3 to about 13 years old when I left home, she did the best she could. She is my hero. We lived from country to country, different countries in Europe, lived in Switzerland, in Tyrol, northern Italy, lived in Greece for many years. And we didn't have a lot. But I learned about resilience from my mom. I learned about freedom from my mom. I learned a lot of lessons from her. I'm going to share some of them with you because they're the ones that I used in the business. The first thing I learned from her was accept the positive and the negative, but only hold on to what you want. That was my mama. And I used that as an entrepreneur. The other thing I learned from her, she didn't use these words, these are mine, but they come from her actions. Winners aren't just resolution makers, they're commitment keepers. She didn't just make a resolution to get to freedom, she got to freedom. Right? A lot of people dream, but a few people follow through on their dreams. Be a dreamer and not just a dreamer. Be a dreamer and be a finisher. That's what was instilled into my heart from my mom. These are all characteristics that translate so well into direct selling. That's what we do. Her sacrifice became my freedom. Your future is born from your actions. It's only through her actions that I was able to be born into freedom. It's only through her actions that I was able to be raised from the single mom with the more love than you could possibly imagine. With every sacrifice there possibly could have been, she made it. And she did it with a smile. She didn't hide her mistakes. She let other people learn from them. Huge lesson for me as an entrepreneur. She showed her failures. I learned to show my failures in this process, in this journey. She showed her faults. I have no problem showing my faults as an entrepreneur in this journey. And still, she had the audacity to chase her dream. in spite of all the problems, in spite of all the faults. Your focus forms your future. What we focus on forms your future. Happiness isn't something that just finds us. Happiness is something that we have to work for, that we have to choose to go get. She had to choose to go across that border at whatever the risk is, because she was choosing to get happiness. It didn't just find her. She had to decide to go get it. And in our profession, in direct selling, we help people choose to go get happiness, the pursuit of happiness, the path towards happiness. And that fires me up. We make friends, and we help our friends. We make friends, we help our friends. Rinse and repeat. We make friends, we help our friends. When we give out of love and not motive. No strings attached. Just give. Something comes back to you, great. Most often they'll come back to you tenfold, hundredfold. But give without motive, no strings attached. You can meet 1,000 people, but it only takes one to change your life forever. Be that one person to somebody. My mom was that person to me. It doesn't have to be your mom. It can be anybody. Can you be that one person to somebody? In our profession, you can, because we have something to offer. You know you really care for someone when contributing to their happiness becomes part of your purpose. I learned that from my mom, and I applied it to my direct selling business. When I cared more about the person's success and that became part of my purpose, good things happen. When I saw team members do the same thing, good things happen. It becomes part of your purpose to help somebody be happy. Somebody in your family's history made a sacrifice. Somebody in your family tree made a sacrifice. Maybe it was your mom, maybe it was your dad, your grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. Somebody in your family upline made a sacrifice so that you could have a shot at freedom, so that you could have a shot at happiness. The question becomes, are you going to honor their struggle? Are you going to honor their sacrifice? Or are you going to let it just go? Or are you just going to let it pass by? Why do I keep going? Because that sacrifice that my mom made, direct selling was one of the best ways I could imagine to pay it forward. And I will keep paying it forward and paying it forward and paying it forward and paying it forward. I don't quit because I'm honoring my family tree. And I don't know how many generations back you have to go for yours, but somebody sacrificed so that you could be born into freedom. Are you going to pay it forward? We have a responsibility to ourselves and to our families to move in the direction of our dreams. Right? Imagine coming home and saying, hey, kids, I give up. We're not going to move in the direction of our dreams. Let's just settle. Ooh. So be bold enough to believe better is possible. My mom sure did. Make everyone who sacrificed on your behalf be proud, even if they're no longer with us. Help other people. Help other people. Help other people so they can help other people. So with that, thank you. Much love to all of you, because you're part of my family. And I hope that you keep paying it forward. Good night.